Hi everyone, this is Everyday Commentary, and this is a video overview of this knife. This is a knife that I've had for a while. It's the Benchmade Mini Grip 555 HG, which stands for hollow ground, and the 555 designation means that it has a thumb hole instead of a thumb stud. This is a really nice knife, and it has been made nicer through the addition of aftermarket scales by a gentleman named Alan Putnam. Alan Putnam has access to or runs a CNC machine shop, and as a result, he can make virtually factory-perfect scales for a wide variety of knives. And I'll put a link in down below to where you can go find Alan's stuff. But this knife and its EDC partner, my Peak Eiger from Overready, are good examples of what you can do when you take a production product and you add some aftermarket accessories to it. In this case, I added the G10 scales, and as you can see, they have a hex pattern in them, and then there's a geared back spacer. And this addition takes away the two big flaws that a lot of people have with the stock mini grip. The first is the stock mini grip. It has a sort of a checkering pattern right underneath the pocket clip, and as a result, the pocket clip's a pretty high tension pocket clip. As a result, pulling a knife in and out of your pocket would cause a significant amount of wear because that checkering is pretty aggressive. But with the Putnam scales, you lose the checkering, but you gain the hex pattern. And while the hex pattern is probably not as grippy as the checkering, it is certainly grippy enough. It will provide you with ample grip in a lot of different situations. And given the size and general purpose of this knife as an everyday carry knife, I don't think that it's anything that you'd have to worry about switching from the stock scales to these scales. But what you do gain is you gain a knife that can go into your pocket and out of your pocket without tearing up your pants, which is something that I find to be pretty valuable. Additionally, there were a lot of people that didn't like the hollow sound of the stock scales, and the stock scales were made of Zytel, and they were convex. That is, they did sort of have a curvature to them. And that curvature meant that the scales did not lay exactly flush with the liners, and you can see the liners right there, the liners inside the knife. And so when you would tap on them with your finger, you would get sort of a hollow sound, and a lot of people didn't like that. It also meant that if you were really squeezing on the knife, you might get a little bit of flex in those scales, like the bubble of the scale would flex a little bit. But it never really bothered me, but if it did bother you, the Putnam aftermarket scales fix that problem as well, because the liners are perfectly seated flush inside the cutout on the interior of the handle scales. And so what you have now is a knife that is incredibly slim, that has ample traction, that won't tear up your pocket, that has one of my favorite locking mechanisms, the axis lock, that has one of my favorite methods of opening a knife, the thumb hole, that has a very nice utilitarian blade shape. It has a very decent steel. 154 cm is a tried and true steel in the cutlery industry, and it's a steel that I really like. And it's a knife that I think really looks good. I thought the original mini grip was a pretty good looking knife, but this knife with the upgraded scales is really kind of striking. It's sleek and thin, and I think that there is sort of a thematic element because these hex patterns kind of look like scales on the mini grip, which is obviously a play on the griptilian, is a play on the reptilian word, the word reptilian. So I like that. It's a sort of thematic thing. You can get the scales from Alan in G10 and aluminum. I would imagine that eventually he'd probably do a run in titanium. The G10 is perfectly fine for me. One of the things that's really nice is that on the places where there isn't the hex pattern, the G10 is really quite smooth. Alan's fit and finish is superb. I mean, one of the things that happens with aftermarket scales or modding is that you tend to see, let me see if I can get it to focus there. You tend to see problems with things like the backspacer. I mean, you have to dial these tolerances in really tight to get no gapping in a backspacer, and Alan is able to do that with ease, as you can see there. My experience with Alan over email was really great. I tried to get an aftermarket clip on here, and he had to like contort it to put it in, and then it didn't work, and he was very kind, and he offered to fix the problem right away. And so I sent the scales back, and he sent them to me. And the whole process, there, back, there, and back again, probably took about a month. So normally you'll go get the scales. He'll send you the scales and you install them. But because I needed to have the scale threaded, tapped and threaded in a different way, I sent the knife to Alan. So he makes excellent products. I cannot say enough about him. So that's the knife. Now here is the flashlight, and you've seen this flashlight before. And I'm not going to go into details because there's another video about this flashlight, but basically it's the same idea. I took a really good flashlight and I made it better. So this is the Over-Ready edition, which means that it has this sort of tuxedo pairing of the silver and the black. And then I added the Prometheus pocket clip, and then I added the momentary on switch from Peak. And so what you get is you get a light that you can vary the output of through the momentary on, or you can vary the output of it through the main head. And it takes almost any form of AA battery or AAA battery, and it has a really great aftermarket pocket clip. And these two together, these make my sort of general purpose running around doing whatever kind of EDC, and they are really great light. They're a really great pairing. Altogether, I think this is probably $150. So $100 for the clip and the Over-Ready light, and then a couple more bucks for the momentary on. And then the mini grip, I think I got it for about $70, and the scales were $75 or $80. So all told, it's about $250, $300, and they are just phenomenal. They're really great. So it's a little sort of discussion of what you can do with aftermarket parts on production